Hi, it's Emma here. Today I'll be interviewing Brandon Young, a multi-million-dollar private label seller and CEO of DataDive. Today will be focused completely on search engine optimization, how to improve organic rank and reduce that tacos. So let's jump in. Welcome to the latest episode of the Amazon Profitability Problems Solved podcast. I'm your host, Emma Bagley, and today I'm joined by Brandon Young, CEO of DataDive and Seller System. So welcome, Brandon.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Good to see you.
Please, can you give us or the listeners a more formal introduction to yourself? You come with so much wealth of experience in the Amazon space. So if you can kind of go back, say, 15 years when you first came into the world of Amazon and talk me through like what you've experienced, how you've helped sellers, how you've helped brands, what you've developed. So just a bit more of a formal overview of your experience, please.
Yeah, I mean, we started selling in 2015 and, in our total Amazon career, we've sold, close to $90 million in products. And it's been quite a journey, but we first started with reselling. So we were doing wholesale and liquidation and buying other people's brands, buying, other products that we could find to sell. And once we realized how scalable of a business FBA was, we just, really just spent a lot of time trying to figure out what we could sell. And my wife, who I was dating at the time, she is originally from China. So what we decided to do was hop on a plane, head over to China and try to find some products and create our own brands and really dive into private label. We figured we had an advantage over the Chinese sellers because of me, even though I didn't know anything. And then we figured we had an advantage over the American sellers because of her with sourcing, logistics, and communications. And so we just went on a hunch and tried to go find some products to sell. And that was in 2016. So by the time 2017 rolled around, we were 100% private label, and we've been that since. We have over 400 active SKUs. We're still selling. So we our brands did close to 15 million last year, and we have five brands spread across a few accounts.
And is this all in Amazon.com or across the globe?
We are 95% Amazon, and I'd say almost all of it is .com. They have a program where they'll ship to Canada and Mexico for you, but it's not that we're actively there listing our products or shipping into those countries. So yeah, it's all .com.
And is there any interest in the more European marketplaces, UK, Germany at all?
There always has been to an extent, but the complexity of going over there. It's a new launch, a new product. Like not every product translates the same way. The demand is very different. The audiences are very different. What they want out of a product is very different. And, you've got the VAT and you've got logistics. And so the management of each SKU from an overhead perspective is very great. And for the same amount of effort, we always felt that it was just a better bang for our buck or ROI to launch new products into Amazon.com versus expand the existing ones over there.
Okay. And how about TikTok Shop, which we'll come on to slightly later, but any of your products on TikTok Shop right now?
As of this quarter, we are finally in TikTok Shop. So we've launched our first 5 over there. We've got some giveaways we started doing. We committed our first shipment in December to TikTok fulfillment. And so we are on our way, on our TikTok journey finally. It's way overdue. Back in May of last year, we held a conference in Mexico, in Cancun, called Camp Ecom. And I had 3 different sellers who are in my community. So students who have gone headfirst into TikTok. And 2 of them were doing over $100,000 a month on TikTok, and one of them was doing over $1 million a month on TikTok.
Oh, wow. Are you allowed to share what kind of products they were?
So one is in like home goods. The other one is in the gift category. So He does a lot of gift cards. He's well known in this, like he started his own podcast and has become more well known in the space as well. And then the last one was in supplements. So it was a replenishable type product. The traffic from TikTok over to Amazon and the result that you get on Amazon from the effort on TikTok is incredible. So it is a really a necessary thing in a lot of categories, I think, moving forward.
Yeah, I think it's just going to accelerate over the next few months and years, isn't it? It's an exciting time ahead. So good luck with that, with your brands on
Thank you.
TikTok. So tell me more. Obviously, you're representing Data Dive really today because we're going to be digging deep into PPC and SEO. So can you give us, we use Data Dive in the agency. So please, can you tell me, how did you come up with this amazing tool, and to tell us a little bit more about how you help brands and agencies in the world of Amazon?
So really, this is like the brainchild of my wife and I sitting there trying to figure out what we did right and wrong around a few of our initial launches. So this goes all the way back to 2016, where we had a couple products succeed and a couple products fail. And one of our biggest failures was an electronics product that we launched. And when we got done and we were kind of doing a post-mortem, they call it, where we were just like, okay, so why did we just lose a significant amount of money? I think it was over $25,000 that we lost in inventory on this product. And it was just a complete failure. And we were like, well, our assumption around how we would sell the product was wrong. And so we made a rule that said that from now on, we will not launch a product until we know exactly which keywords we can realistically rank on in order to sell it. And so that led us down a rabbit hole of tearing down the current sellers of any niche to understand how each of them are getting their sales before we move forward with the product. So you can learn a lot from the keywords. So, and what we understood very early on is that certain competitors are on certain keywords and other competitors are on different keywords. There's some overlap, but not all overlap. It's not every competitor is on every keyword. Most competitors are bad at SEO. They've gotten better over time and for the most part for a lot of categories, but it was even worse back then to where there were a lot more gaps in the SEO and the demand. So if you could map out the total demand for a niche, all the keywords that drive sales, and then you would be able to quickly understand where people were ranked and where they weren't ranked and what the gaps were. You could then break down based on the relevancy of the keywords and how easily you could potentially rank on each of those keywords as well. That would also then lead you to understand how many units you can potentially sell based if you do accomplish ranking on those keywords and you get good at ranking and launching products. And so that was kind of it. It was built out of necessity. And at first we were taking data from Viral Launch and Seller Labs. So there were two pieces of software out there that we kind of had to piece together because one of them had good reverse ASIN data. The other one had good search volume data. And we would VLOOKUP the data to match it, and it wasn't perfect. And then Helium 10 came along with Cerebro, and we were like, hey, you should allow us to do more than one at a time, like 10 at a time, like at least 10 at a time. And then they moved to 10. And then we took all of the data that they would give you from a Cerebro report, and we ran our own formulas. And then those formulas is, that automation of those formulas is what became Data Dive.
Wow. So if there's any, I suppose, brand rather than private label, so let any brand out there listening who's curious about this tool, how would you suggest that, if you're like an established brand, how would you suggest that your tool really can make a difference to their business?
Oh, at the core of what we do at Data Dive is that it is an SEO tool. So with a very clear, glaring picture, it's going to show you what you're doing right and wrong from a ranking perspective. And so as soon as you run a dive and you take your best-selling competitors in a niche and you identify what your niche looks like, don't add anyone that's not making sales, right? Because they don't have data that you want. But include 10, 15, competitors that are all making decent sales and your product. You will very clearly see the keywords that you're not ranked for, that you have indexing issues for, that you didn't write into your listing, different root words you didn't even know people are searching to find your product, so you didn't build them into your listing, things you haven't targeted with ads that you maybe should have. You will see a clear picture as to how good you are at Amazon from an SEO perspective. And it gives you the tools to start to fix that, right? Like, so you start to track those keywords, you start to, understand what your data is coming in from an SQP perspective. So now we import that search query performance report because that's a benchmark. It shows you what your competitors are doing from a conversion standpoint, click share per keyword, and what your ads are doing, right? On versus that. So if your ads are outperforming the average conversion rate on a keyword, that's a good indicator that you have an opportunity to rank higher, right? That's a good. But if your PPC is performing worse or your overall performance is worse than your competitors, then that's a clear indicator you're probably wasting money there. You're wasting ad spend, and you need to go back to the drawing board and figure out how to optimize your conversion rates. So we want to just show the data. Now, I feel like Data Dive's still really in beta. Now we have 10,000 users and we're over 4 million in revenue, but I feel like we're still an infant in the space of software. The true vision of where we're going this year with the tool is that we're going to start to alert you and flag these things for you, right? So we can take these data points that mean something, and so you don't have to go keyword by keyword, product by product, SKU by SKU, and we can just kind of give you an alerts dashboard and just say, hey, these are the issues. These are the ones where you're probably wasting spend. These are the ones where you could probably rank higher, and that's where we're going.
That's would be incredibly helpful for brands, sellers, and agencies as well. Thank you. I like the sound of that development. It's a curious question now from me. There's so much talk in the space about these gurus who talk about SEO is dead. The algorithm's changing. Gone are the days of keyword stuffing. It's all about, and something I'm really passionate about, the sales velocity and conversion. How would you suggest that SEO has actually evolved, even just in the last 18 months, 2 years?
Oh, the amount of data we're getting from Amazon is so much better, right? More data, the better for me. I've always been passionate and a data guy, so I want to make decisions based on data. I think that gives you the highest chances of success. So just in the last 2 years, just them giving us the search query performance report has been magical. That to me is my favorite report that Amazon gives us. The fact that we can put it all together and look at, those conversion rates of your competitors, the performance of your competitors versus your product, amazing. And then to understand whether you're ranking or can rank, the specificity of keywords and to your product. Yeah, I think that we're so for a lot of people who don't do data well, Amazon may have gotten harder. Because it's more competitive, right? But if you're pulling the right levers and able to check your work with the data and then continuously iterate and improve, I think it's gotten easier. Like I've been on a mission the last few weeks where I've taken back over a few of my products. I've had my hands off for a couple of years because we have a big team. But I would run demos and I would talk about Data Dive and I would look at our rank radars and our keyword ranks and our performance on a couple products that I would often use as private demos for agency owners or enterprise owners. And I would say, this is one of my products, right? Because I don't share it publicly often, but privately, I'm willing to do that. And I'll say, this is a product. And I'll be like, oh, so this is an issue, right? My ads person is doing this wrong and I need to make an alert. So I'll take a screenshot, I'll send it over to my team. And I was doing that more and more often. And I finally pinged my wife and I was like, hey, what is this guy doing? I was like, wait, I keep finding these issues and then they're not getting better. And then, she's like, well, she's really busy. She runs this whole thing by herself for the most part, 25, 27 employees and, designers and logistics and 400 SKUs and new product development and everything, right? And I would help in the new product side because that's my passion too. I love designing new things and I love AI and design work and stuff. But she's like, she's like, I just don't, that's an older account. It's, it's a legacy product. Maybe it's dead. I don't know. And I said, no, like the data is there. Like it clearly has a lot of potential. We're just wasting it. And I was like, all right, get rid of that guy. I'm going to take over the account. Like I was just like this, he's not getting better. Let me just, I'll literally, she's like, when you don't have time for that. I said, I'll figure it out. So I've been staying up in my office till 1, 2 in the morning, like every day, just digging back in and making changes and absolutely loving it. And I'm seeing the results from it, right? We've tripled sales on this one parent listing that
Amazing.
we've had it for 6 years. It has over 10,000 reviews and it was dying, but there's no reason it should have died. I improved the main image, improved the click-through rate, the conversion rates have increased. We have a higher rating than anybody in the space with 10,000 reviews. Like there's no reason we're not crushing with this product, right? And so I just pulled the right levers and been working on it, and the keyword ranks have all improved significantly. It's been
Yeah,
a journey. Is this going to go on YouTube? I could show you a screenshot of the
yeah, please
keywords.
do.
And this is what I was talking about. I was looking at the total conversion rate. This is what Data Dive shows you very clearly. Here's your organic rank every day for these keywords. This is if you're running exact phrase broad auto campaigns, how many campaigns are targeting each of these keywords. And then you have your conversion rate from an ads perspective, and you have your total conversion rate from an ASIN perspective, and you have the total conversion rate of competitors. If your conversion rate from your ads is exceeding or far better than these percentages, then you should be putting your foot on the gas, right? And you can see that a lot of these are now breaking into top of search or top 10, top 5 from a keywords perspective. Sorry. And if you go here, you can quickly see that where we started when I took over the account.
Mm-hmm.
And so you would see like it's incredible if you just pull the right levers, you're willing to spend on the right keywords with the right targeting. Another piece of data that you get that you didn't get previously was you get placement data. So the fact that they break down the performance at top of search, rest of search, and product detail pages, and then you can use modifiers to target where it converts better is amazing. Like that's not what you never had that before. You never had that level of control or visibility before, and it was far harder to control where your ads showed up and to who and what the performance was. So I really love the direction Amazon's going with giving us more and more control. And it's going to benefit people who dig into that, who really go deep into that performance data, into this data.
There is so much data now, isn't there? You can, as a brand in particular, be overwhelmed with the amount of data that Amazon sends you, and you could spend all day tweaking every element of your Amazon account and respond and react to all of these different data points and get nowhere, trying to do too many things and not being strategic. So what would you say is the most significant data point that Amazon does and it does provide, and how would you use it for kind of brands? So the brands where, it's not their baby, it's one of many, they probably sell D2C or, into retail and haven't got the time or the energy to really sit on this data day in, day out.
I mean, conversion rate data is number one, right? It's primary because ranking comes down to two factors. It comes down to your indexing. So whether Amazon sees that product as relevant to that keyword, you control a lot of that. So through your category, through the way you write your listing, those are the two main ways to control that. You can also establish indexing now through your content. So because the Rufus and Cosmo read your content and give you attribution for keywords based on what you wrote or the subject matter of your content. But for the most part, it's content and category. Amazon will block certain keywords and map keywords to different categories. A lot of people don't know that. They try to game the system and try to get a bestseller badge, and they'll end up in a different category. So Amazon, they struggle to rank. But then it's performance. So it's your indexing times your performance, and your performance is click-through rate, conversion rate, and total sales. So total revenue is weighed very heavily but conversion rate's primary. You've got to drive the clicks, you got to drive the revenue, but you really, really need to have a higher conversion rate than competitors. And then if you've established that relevancy, and relevancy is the same between your product and mine, it's going to come down to who's performing better. So understanding the algorithm and the ranking algorithm and how important and how it works, you can reverse engineer it. You fix your indexing, then you just got to get a better conversion rate and then drive more actions at that higher conversion rate. So conversion rate for me is primary, and now you get it everywhere. You get your competitors' conversion rates, you get your conversion rates, you get your ads conversion rates, you get your conversion rate at top of search, your conversion rate at rest of search, your conversion rate on product detail pages from different match types. And so yeah, CVR is it. Like that's the end, that's everything.
Yeah, I agree. And, there's a lot of people in the space that still talk about like the keyword stuffing and, your SEO isn't optimized if you're not kind of driving sales. But ultimately, you can have your beautifully optimized, conversion-oriented listing. But if your product isn't competitive, what you price isn't competitive, and your competition doesn't matter how amazing your ads are, how amazing your SEO is. It does come down to core business basics, doesn't it? The product, the price, the availability.
Yeah. And to that point, like I will not launch a product until I win a custom poll, right? I'll use a company like PickFu, and I will ask 30 real people just in a primary development perspective. I'll analyze the competitors. I'll see what they're doing right and wrong. I'll ask AI to help me with that. Like we have the AI tool within Data Dive, the AI product brief. I'll compare 5 or 10 competitors. It'll look at their reviews. It'll look at their detail pages, and I'll say, what are they doing? What do people like and not like about the product? What can I do better? And then I'll use that to actually design the product in ChatGPT, which to me, this blows my mind. I mean, we started so long ago that in order to design a product, we would have to basically settle for whatever the factory had, or pay a lot of money to get them to do something custom, or pay a designer a lot of money to do something custom. And even in that case, we'd settle, right? Oftentimes just settle for close enough to what I wanted, like it's good enough to launch. This one, I can spend an hour talking to ChatGPT with the right data and with the vision in mind of what I want and get something incredible, right? And it looks like a main image. So I can take that straight out of ChatGPT and ask 30 real people, which one would you rather have? And they've got an option between mine and the 3 best sellers. If I don't win that poll, I don't move forward with the product. And so if I win that and I get like half the votes out of me and the top 3 guys in the category, the top 3 niche sellers, I'm confident that my conversion rate will be good when my click-through rate will be good when I go to market. And so that I try to solve that conversion rate issue before I even launch the product. But if you're taking over as an agency owner, it's got to be very difficult for you because you've got stuff coming to you that isn't always the best product in the category. It's like you've got competitors who are selling a better design, that are selling at a better price, that are selling, that are just, they have all of the stuff that makes them convert higher, and you've kind of just have to settle for it.
Yeah, it's another problem to be solved on Amazon, isn't it? There's many games to play on Amazon, and that's just one of the exciting games. So, but your tool is incredible for supporting agencies like mine in getting the best for the brands that we work with. So really monitoring all of those data points that you've just talked about. Without tools like that, with the Data Dive.
I think the good thing also that you can take this data and show the client. You're like, there's nothing we can do
exactly.
if our conversion rate is 8% and the average is 15.
Yeah.
Like we're not going to be able to do it. Like no matter where we target, what placement we're at, like our ads just do not convert as well. And it's nothing that we're doing or another agency can do that we're not doing. We need to go back, and there's a core issue with the product and content that needs to be fixed.
Yeah, absolutely. I do share that. We do share that data with clients, and I really like the Rank Radar to actually showing strategically we are going to be going after these keywords. Over the next quarter, let's really granularly look at this and monitor and track and evolve our strategy. I particularly love that tool and showing that progress. And then if we're not making the progress with the client, we can have an open dialogue. So, okay, so why isn't it? The ads there, the SEO's there, the content's there. What can we all be doing together as a team? So, yeah, thank you for building such an amazing tool. So, 4 more questions then. Data dive and the P&L. If you were a brand like you, 50 to 50 million pounds on Amazon, where do you see data dive actually moving the needle commercially? So making better decisions perhaps to boost profitability or to drive sales.
So I think new product development is super important. I think a lot of brands do not spend enough time figuring out how to iterate in how to disrupt even their existing products. And so I like to tell everyone, I said, if you're not disrupting your product, someone else is going to do it for you. And so you need to be on the defensive by being on the offensive. So even for your existing SKUs, you cannot get comfortable anymore. AI has just made the time to disruption significantly faster. I was just, talking about how I use it for product development. People are doing the same thing, right? They're looking at your product and your competitors and they're saying, what are you doing right and wrong? What do customers want more? What can I do to add value? How can I quickly create a better design and enter this market? And they're going to be coming after your existing products. So first of all, you've got to be using it to constantly be developing new products, even in sprints, 2, 3, 4 weeks at a time. Figure out 5, 10 products that you can launch over the course of the next 6 to 12 months. And just do that every quarter or so, right? The other part is going to be the SEO side. So where are you winning and losing? What keywords and generally it's root words. We call them roots. So you might have 400 keywords that drive sales for a product. It's quite extensive often. And if you break those keywords down into the repeated words and phrases, an example I like to give is a toiletry bag, because a toiletry bag is called many different things in America. It's called a bathroom bag. It's called a shaving bag. It's called a toiletry bag, a men's travel bag. It's called a adopt kit, right? So if I were to look at this toiletry bag and let's say I didn't know that in the Midwest, they call it a DOP kit. Never. Have you ever heard?
No.
Have you ever heard that term? Yeah.
No.
So DOPP, DOP kit, right?
Oh,
that's
right.
a significant search term for this product with, 10,000, 12,000 searches a month for people looking for DOP kits. That's the same product, but you wouldn't know it if you didn't do the proper research with Data Dive, for example. And so if you've got your product launched and you're selling your toiletry bag and you didn't know, like, hey, it's a hygiene bag. People are calling it and looking for a hygiene bag. They're looking for DOP kit. You didn't write those in your listing. You don't index for those terms. You're not going to rank for those terms. And so you'll see those gaps. So I think that you need to go and take a look at the market, the total demand, and understand where you are from an indexing and SEO perspective and get granular. You need to really, really understand how to rank and what you're doing right and wrong and take market share. Like really it comes down, SEO is market share, right? The more traffic you have, if your conversion rates are better, you're just gaining market share. And that's the game.
I agree. Thank you for that. And I suppose it leads us on to the next question about when brands plateau. So we've talked about like new product development, but is there anything that you'd like to add or advice that you'd like to give to brands that like, well, we're optimized as much as possible. We've got an amazing agency on this account. We're really investing in all our keywords. We're putting substantial amount of budget behind this, but we're not growing anymore.
Right. I think that you have to look 2 different places. One is going to be, and really, this is a very simple exercise that was taught to us from an executive coach that we hired. If you were to try to map out, like you do an annual planning session, and you were to map out all of the value levers of your business. So what drives the value of your business? And revenue is a big part of it, profit and revenue, right? Think about what the effort is to pull one of these levers. You can increase the traffic into a listing, and traffic times conversions is revenue, is sales and revenue. And you can increase the conversion rates. So let's say I take a product that's getting, 1,000 clicks and I can bring it to 11,000 clicks and, I get an extra 100 sales. That's not a lot of revenue that you're adding to your business. The reality is the number one lever you can pull is new products, right? So you have sales comes from only two places, existing products and new products. So if I want to grow my business, it's often from the development of new products. Now that could be new variations. And I think that this is where a lot of people also struggle and don't optimize properly. Variations, massive opportunity to increase conversion rates. So it accomplishes increasing conversion rates at the same time. And it's another way to get traffic into your listing. So if I were to look at the data and look at the 500, 1,000 keywords for my product that people are using to find my product, and I feed them into data, into ChatGPT, I just copy them in and I say, break down the variation type demand for me. So any colors, styles, sizes, like any adjectives that would infer a variation of my product, and break it down for me. How many keywords and how much demand? You'd be shocked. There might be 12 keywords that people are looking for a pink one. And it might be small, right? Each keyword might only have a couple hundred searches a month, but it's a couple thousand searches a month combined. And if you were to add a pink variation, you might get an extra, 100 clicks into your listing, 200 clicks into your listing, and at a high conversion rate. Because if you have to understand that variation specific traffic converts much higher. The more adjectives, the more specific the search term, the higher the conversion rate. So if someone searches for just toiletry bag, very broad search, conversion rates might be 10%. If someone searches for pink toiletry bag, pink canvas toiletry bag, right? And you sell a pink canvas toiletry bag, conversion rates are going to be like 30, 40%. Right. And so that average conversion rate into your listing is really great from an SEO perspective for ranking. And it's really great for driving additional traffic sources and funneling additional traffic into your listing. And it adds overall sales. What also works is that when people come into that listing from a general keyword like toiletry bag, it increases your conversion rate also because they feel that they've satisfied the need to shop and they're upselling themselves on the color that they want. They clicked on your generic gray one or brown one, right? That the hero, whatever it is. And now they've said, oh, you know what? My wife would like the pink one. And they've bought a pink one in addition to the gray one that they wanted. Or they said, oh, that, actually like that green one. I'm going to go with that green one or that blue one, right? Or the black one. And now they're buying those instead for an extra $1 or $2, right? And you've got your hero that is tighter margin, driving most of the traffic where your ads are. It's the color that most people will click into. These are the ways that you start to incrementally take market share and use and gain and grow your business. You've got to add, you've got to have a very good variation strategy for most categories. It doesn't work for all categories, but for most categories, you can add variations, multi-packs, colors, sizing. You can find ways, but work backwards from the demand is the key. Like go and see what people are actually searching for, see what your competitors are doing right, that see if they're selling any amount of units of any variations that you don't have, and then grow it that way, or spend some time launching new products. That's how you're going to grow your business. Products have a life cycle. It's okay if you're the fourth bestseller, and maybe you'll only ever be the fourth bestseller because number 1, 2, and 3 are sold in Walmart, Target, or on TikTok or Shopify, and they've got a lot of high converting branded search that you don't have. And you just need to understand that. You need to understand what your possible highest rank is and what your possible market share is so that you can be satisfied with where you're at. In some cases as well. And most people don't compartmentalize or handle that well. Like they think, oh, I'm fifth best, I should be second best, or I should be best. Why am I not best, right? And it's hard to communicate that to someone if they don't really understand what the niche looks like and why certain people are winning. From my products, like I sell, like one of my biggest brands is a toy brand. We did $12 million just in toys last year. I can tell you that there are certain niches where I beat major competitors, but I'm never going to be Melissa and Doug. right? Melissa and Doug has 100,000 searches coming into Amazon every month for certain products, and they're just going to crush me. They're going to be number one, maybe number one and number two, and I'm okay being number three. And so I just need to be realistic.
You've talked quite a lot about new product development, and a lot of people listening will be interested in developing their own private label. I mean, maybe gone are the days when it was easy to do that and win fast. But when you're talking about, the millions that you've generated in just one category, obviously people's ears are going to be pricking up. How is there really opportunity now for people expanding or launching a product as a private label seller? Is there really potential now like there was in, say, 2015? And if you think so, what advice would you give them or courses you'd recommend?
Yeah, I think that you just need to be more sophisticated. I can tell you that I launched 15 products last year, which is down from what we normally launch. We launched a lot more than the previous years. But 12 of those products, and that's not including like new variations, like just totally new parent listings. 12 of those I generated and designed with AI. My success rate was higher last year than it was in the previous 3 or 4 years before that. So is it possible to still? Yeah, I think it's in a lot of ways it's easier because we have more data, we have AI. The time to design and disrupt is faster, cheaper. I don't have to pay a product designer, thousands and thousands of dollars. I don't need to go back and forth with a factory for months getting samples and designs, right? And kind of being satisfied with what I have. I can really iterate, like I can imagine anything based on the data and then design something really cool.
You sell a course, don't you? Or community. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, I can. So we do have a new course for beginners coming out, because when I first started teaching in 2018, I started with a lot of newbies. We had thousands of students, and hundreds of those went on to become millionaires without, they literally built their businesses up and sold their businesses, or are doing, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars in profit annually. And I want to go back to that, right? Like for the last couple of years, we were focusing just on the bigger sellers. We were focusing on these enterprise and sellers that were sophisticated because there's less newbies coming in. But there's still, I think last year there were 130,000 people that started selling on Amazon for the first time in a long time.
Wow.
And
I did not know that. That's a huge statistic.
Yeah. But it's down, right? It was actually more than that the previous years.
I can see how it went up significantly over COVID, but it still sounds such a large number last year.
Right. And I think that there's an opportunity. A lot of these people who want to sell in the space, like you're saying, that are listening, that are thinking about it, are not, they're not doing it the right way, right? They're watching a course on YouTube, or they're learning from a fake guru, and techniques that don't work anymore. They're not looking at the right data, and it really is a difficult thing. So what I did is I've got a course here that I'm launching actually next month. It's funny you ask, because it's going to be an incubator. It's literally for people just starting. And what I wanted to do is remove a lot of the risk for them. I wanted to reduce the cost, because my inner circle is very expensive. It's for more sophisticated sellers. It's an annual membership. It's a mastermind more than just a course, very deep support. But it's a few $1,000s a year, and it's very expensive. It's a big commitment. And I want to be sympathetic to the people who are just starting. So we're actually reducing the cost to $1,000 for the year. And it's going to be course content with a Discord support group, with weekly calls and an SOP driven out, and the right lessons on how to make sure that you look at the data to know you're winning when you design a product. So as I was saying, what I've decided to do is really focus on helping people get started from scratch again, because I think if you do it the right way, and I make it sound easy, right? It's not as easy as it sounds, because there's a lot of learning curves to it. And as you know, right, like you've been in the space for a very long time, I think that there's like three major learning curves. One is the product development side. The other one is going to be logistics and dealing with factories and suppliers. And then the other one is your SEO. So your PPC and your launches. And a lot of people who are not good at that stuff should outsource it to great, agencies like yours, right? And then that way they can focus on the other side. Because as a solopreneur, which a lot of people entering the space will be, you, with the help of either an agency or a VA, can drive a business from 0 to $1 to $3 million. I've seen it done 100 times, right? It's possible. Because the math is there. You just need 10 products doing 10 sales a day at an average of $25. I don't know. What is that? 10 times 25 times 365 times 10. Yeah, it's $900,000 in sales. And so you got 10 products, $25, 10 sales a day each, and you've got $1 million revenue business. And the reality is you're not going to keep every product. Not every product you launch is going to be successful. You're not going to keep every product around that you launch. And so maybe 50% hit rate, 40% hit rate. So in order to, you got to launch 25 to keep 10, 20 to keep 10. So you got to walk through this process a bunch of times, right? I've launched over 1,000 products on Amazon.
You say it's like a full-time investment into this, like all the gurus. So you can do it as a side hustle, but to do it properly.
It quickly will shape into your main focus when you start to see the revenue and the opportunity. I think if you can invest 10 hours a week for the first 3 to 6 months, that's enough, because you're learning. Like the first 3 months, you are just doing the product development, the research, you're communicating with factories, you're getting samples, and you're going down the rabbit hole of what potential products you want to launch in the future. And everyone has limited capital. You're not going to start and launch 10 products. You're going to launch 1, maybe 2 products for $5,000, $10,000 each, $15,000 each, whatever it is your capital allows. And then you're going to learn the process. And then you're going to say, okay, that was actually not as hard. I've learned how to do it. I've encountered the issues. The hardest thing is that you run into things that you don't know, and you don't know what you don't know. And that's where community helps. That's where a course helps. That's where like having the support helps, because we'll give you those warnings ahead of time so you don't make the same mistakes that we've all made. And when you do run into an issue, you have the ability to ask someone who's overcome it, right? And you've got resources. Like we've got relationships with people who can help you with anything. Like we've got relationships with people that work at Amazon, for example, that, you have an inventory issue. Like I can send an email on your behalf. Like I just did that last night. I had a student on a call who said that their entire catalog now is not showing Prime eligible. And this is a large, 8-figure business. And I've never encountered that. I sent an email introduction to someone very, very high up in Amazon. And he looked at it, got back within 10 minutes and said, I've never seen anything like that before. It's interesting. Do you have time to jump on a call? Right?
Ooh.
So it's stuff like that, like the intangibles.
Can I have that personal email, please, Pat?
Send me a message if you ever run into an issue and need it. And so from a product development perspective, that's where you start. And it's fun. So I'll show you something that we did. In a case study, I was just teaching a class and I asked the students, what category do you want to do? And so what I did is I was looking at toys. And so they said, well, let's do some binoculars. So we started all the way back up here and I took the 4 bestsellers of kids binoculars on Amazon. Now the risk score on this, according to Data Dive, was not great. So it was a more risky product, right? You've got to really differentiate. But through the research, we understood that parents valued the educational element, right? And they wanted something that was durable, and they wanted something with some design element to it. So there's 3 factors that we could hit on: emotional triggers and factors that parents wanted, and conversion triggers. So it broke these down, and then I have a very, very long prompt that I teach that generates a report. And this is a report that you get that really understands who the typical buyers are. And I have it actually do it twice, which is interesting. So I tell it to generate this report and then do it again and go deeper. So it generates the report twice. So you really, the GPT goes out and does this thing. Now, I've trained my GPT with a lot of training data and material and classes and things I've taught and told it to go become an expert at. So it's a little bit different. But after learning all of that, I asked it, okay, how do we make a product that wins? And I fed in the keywords, right? And then it says, okay, here's what people like and don't like. And then we come down and I said, okay, mock up a main image. Right. So this was our first pass. We went with a unicorn design. I said, okay, well, we need to add those educational elements. We need to add those other things, maybe a case, right? And so I said, it's not good enough. Show me but let's get a dinosaur version, right, for boys, because girls are always unicorns, boys are always dinosaurs, right? And so it was okay. I said, okay, well, let's get the design out. Let's go back to the dinosaurs and let's get the educational element. And we ended up with this. So straight out of ChatGPT, I've got a version that has the educational element. It's got a nicely designed case that helps with durability. The kids are going to drop it all over the place when they're not using it. It's got the plastic and durability, and it's got a great gift set, right? Like it's a gift. Most people are buying it as a gift for a kid. So you want it to come in a nice box. You want it to be exciting. You want it to have a bow on it. These are things that we learn over time from triggers. And so straight out of ChatGPT, I was able to take this and go to PickFu, and I crushed. I won 60 or 70% of the votes against the top 3 sellers. So, and I said, okay, well, that's great. Show me the girls version, right? I said, let's make a similar design with the unicorn theme. And we were able to get this one. Now, do you think I can take this product on Amazon and compete with the competitors? Yeah, I think so, right? Like, it's a more competitive space. The demand is there during the spring and the summer. It's going to take some ranking. It's going to take some investment. It's going to take some marketing dollars. But I can get the printed papers, the design stuff. I can add to this. This is just a rough start, 90% of the way there. The details need to be finished up, and then the product needs to be polished. But this is what we teach. This is what we do. And so this is why our success rate is so high, because like to get to this 5-10 years ago was impossible, right? Like we would never get there. Yeah, we would have ended up at best with something, like this first iteration up here. And then that would have been cute. That would have been good enough to maybe win for a little while. But someone would have come in with the educational elements and beat us. Someone would have come in with the case and beat us, right? And so it would have been good enough to start. But it's not good enough anymore. We can go deeper. Just keep adding the value.
And in your course, do you talk at all about the importance, I mean, we've mentioned it a little bit, of driving off Amazon traffic to support ranking growth of
for the more competitive products, I think it's necessary moving forward to drive that TikTok traffic, or because you see the branded search from people who were doing D2C and Shopify, and from social media ads, people who are in physical retail locations and stores. And so we're trying to teach that now, which is TikTok as a channel, if it breaks even for you, is awesome, right? If you can move any significant amount of units there and you're even breaking even there, you're going to crush on Amazon. I've seen case studies from students who have gone from number 8, number 12, number 15 on major keywords with hundreds of thousands of searches a month to number 1 without additional ad spend because of the TikTok traffic, because of the higher conversion rate and people searching for their product over on Amazon because of the TikTok. So the way it works is for every 3, on average, it's plus or minus depending on the category, but for every 3 products you sell on TikTok, you're going to make 1 additional sale on Amazon. And sometimes it's even higher. It might be like 2 to 1. And so and the reason is because people don't trust it, or they have Prime and they want it now, and they go search. So a lot of people are going over to Amazon to compare pricing, but also to compare shipping. And so if they want it Prime overnight or next day or same day, and you have that ability because you've got a lot of units over at Amazon, they'll say, yeah, I'll just check out with Prime. I trust Amazon more than TikTok. And so you make a lot of additional sales if you're pulling that lever on TikTok.
And that may change in the next few years. Who knows where TikTok is going to go in the future? But that product in particular, I can see it being demonstrated so well through TikTok, like the education element, the fun element of it, the children. It can be such super cute content that's going to drive that desire, that demand to go onto Amazon. So, that's.
You walk outside and you don't want to show the face of your child a lot of times, and there's rules around filming children on TikTok. But like if you've got a kid, you show the product in the box, you show the packaging, you show the educational element, and then you pan up and your child's out there looking for birds and looking for animals to check the list of, and you make it a dry erase so that it's a scavenger hunt that's repeatable, right? And you want playability and replayability. And you're like, okay, let's see how many we can check off today. We're going to go outside into the backyard and we're going to go try to find all these different animals. And it's not a dinosaur, but it's a, lizard, right? And it's a certain, you need to find a red bird and a blue bird and a gray bird. And like I love product development. So I'm really like, I can think down this rabbit hole of how a child would think. And I think they would enjoy that. Hey, mom, can we go on a scavenger hunt today? And then this is the scavenger hunt kit, right? It's not just a pair of binoculars. You're making it an adventure.
Yeah. I'm thinking super cute outfits to go alongside. So the unicorn
outfit. That's a whole market. There's a whole niche for that, actually. Yeah. They call them explorer sets and the outdoor explorer keywords. Yeah. There's a whole community for that, or a whole niches for that.
Cute little unicorns and dinosaurs running around with their binoculars. Very cute. So how can people learn more about your course then? So it's launching next month. Is that April 2026?
March. It'll be in March. And if you go to Seller Systems Academy, if you go to sellersystems.com, because the Seller Systems Academy is our rebrand for this new course, but it's not up yet. But I have a free masterclass that you can sign up for now on sellersystems.com. Now it's a couple years old, but the principles are a lot of the principles are the same. And if you click on the masterclasses button, you can probably find the AI class that I taught, this workshop that I taught this example in. And you can find that one, but it's not free. But the free one's good. It's a good start. It's data product development. It's understanding the competitors. It's data dive. It's looking at it's looking at all that. But that would at least get you into our mailing list so that when we launch the incubator, we're going to send you a notification and we'll send you a discount. Because when we launch the beta, we're not expecting to we have 100 hours of content shot for the inner circle, right? But we're reshooting a lot of it for the incubator. So it's up to date, the latest strategies and the core of what you need to be successful. So what we're doing is we're going to launch it as a beta with 50% of it already done and shot. And then we'll go along with you as we get to those other sections around launch and everything. So it'll be done as you're in there in the beta, but you'll get a discount because of it.
Okay, and I'll pop that website on the show notes as well for everyone. So this is kind of like the final question for the very, very, very quick true and false round. If you was to take over a 10 million Amazon brand tomorrow, take over, what is the first thing you would analyze inside Data Dive to unlock growth?
So I have a very simple SOP. Absolutely. Here's the 3-step SOP, right? First is always fix conversion rates. So step one is, because if you spend money and your conversion rates aren't good, you're wasting money, right? So I wouldn't necessarily do anything to ads. I wouldn't change anything. From an ads perspective, I would first go and look at conversion rates and start to optimize conversion rates. So update and refresh new images, new content. There's different things you can do that would increase click-through rate and conversion rate right away from a content perspective. So I would analyze that and do what I can there. Step two is indexing. So looking at the rank radars, I would look and see, are there any clear issues with any indexing? So like you've got a keyword or a root word that you didn't write into your listing, and so you're ranked not even on page 10, right? Or you're ranked on page 2 and 3 because Amazon's not sure that keyword is relevant, and you've got to unlock the rest of that indexing, that indexing string. So because again, the number one reason to run ads is to rank higher. So if you're not able to rank because your indexing is bad, you need to fix that first. So always do it in that order: conversion rates, indexing. Then I would go in and I would start to, with that new data from the improved click-through rate and conversion rate, hopefully, I would then start to optimize the ads. I would understand which keywords I can improve which keywords I've kind of hit a ceiling, which ones I'm wasting money on, and I would start to optimize from there.
So many brands get this wrong back to front, don't they? Drive more money on ads. There's something wrong with the ads. Swap ads agency, invest more, whatever it might be. But actually, you can have the most amazing Amazon ads strategy expert in place. If your product page isn't converting or your keywords aren't even indexed in the first place, no amount of effort and spend is going to impact that. Okay, thank you. Right. We are at my final stage of podcast and my favorite bit, the true false round. So there is no right or wrong answer. It's just your opinion and very quick kind of statement about why you believe that is the right answer for you. So ranking is easier to maintain than it is to achieve.
Ranking is easier to maintain than it is to achieve.
So once you've got there.
Yeah, I would say that is true, because in order to achieve it in the first place, you would have had to have performed well. So your conversion rate is good. And then to maintain it, there are different strategies around defensive ads that you can turn on, banners, SB campaigns, sponsored product, like sponsored display ads. So and we have different defensive campaigns that we use to kind of maintain top of search. Yeah, I would say that maintaining is easier. True.
Okay. More keywords in your listing doesn't necessarily mean better ranking. So, for example, repeatedly using keywords.
So that's true, because as a matter of fact, if you use the same keyword phrase that you want to rank for more than 3 times, it actually hurts your ability to rank. So funny enough, the way that SEO works and the algorithm works is that when we first launched onto Amazon 2015, 2016, you would get cumulative credit for mentioning a keyword for ranking juice, like ranking ability. And it was uncapped. So Chinese sellers knew that and hacked it. And what they would do is they would write the same keyword 50 times in the listing. And within the first few days of launch, they'd be number 1. So Amazon had to write a defensive line into the code, into the actual algorithm that says that if it's repeated, it's cumulative up to number 3. And then after number 3, it starts to reduce your ability to rank. So if you repeat a word that you want to rank for, like a phrase, like in the toiletry bag, for example, if I want to rank for just toiletry, like I don't want to just rank for just toiletry, so I can say toiletry 20 times. That's no problem. But toiletry bag, I want to rank for. And if I repeat toiletry bag for men, men's toiletry bag, bathroom travel toiletry bag, somehow I mentioned toiletry bag 10, 20 times, I'm not going to be able to index or rank for toiletry bag. It actually hurts your ability. So repeating is not better. It's actually worse at some point.
Also, the whole change in the way Amazon allows you to write your title now as well, about duplicating keywords in the title.
They point that out for you. It actually helps you. Yeah, they're kind of giving you a clue there.
Yeah. Okay. The brands that win on Amazon aren't always the best products. They're just got that PPC sorted. PPC and SEO sorted.
So that's absolutely true, right? We beat better products on a regular basis, or bigger, better brands, better quality products in some cases. Like we try to make our products quality, but you can only do so much when you're within pricing restraints. Simply because we're better at SEO. So being better at Amazon SEO is more important as long as you've got a competitive product.
The real winners on Amazon are the brands that understand their competitors better than they understand their customers. So which is more important, knowing your competitors or knowing your customers? So
knowing your competitors oftentimes means that you know your customers, because you can see through your competitors who's winning and why, right? You can infer why they're winning based on their designs, their positioning, their images, their content. Like within Data Dive, you can click on Deep Dive and you can just hit Collapse All, and you can see all of the image stacks, right next to each other. you can quickly see how they're positioning their value propositions and their unique selling propositions and their their product to their buyers. Primarily, you need to know who's winning on Amazon and why. I think like that's the most important thing. But you should also know who your buyers are.
Amazon or TikTok shop for new startup brands in 2026?
So I don't know about brand new startups. I think a lot of categories don't necessarily require you to launch on both right away, at least. And then I think there are more competitive categories you might want to do a strategy where you launch on both at the same time. But that'll be like supplements and skincare and replenishables and things like that. If you're some more competitive categories, you probably do need a blended strategy. But for the most part, become an expert at Amazon for primarily. Yeah.
Okay. And this wasn't on my script, but I'm going to ask this question anyway. If money was no object for you, no concern whatsoever, what category or particular what product would you love to sell on Amazon? So it didn't matter if it was profitable, if it was successful, just a passion project. What would it be?
Oh, I'm going down this route now. For the first time, I'm going to be launching a supplement brand. So the last few
most
years,
competitive space.
Yeah, the last few years have been a health journey for me in a lot of ways. I've lost 50, 60 pounds. Trying to take better care of myself, and I'm taking so many supplements, and I've learned about the space, and I study longevity, and I'm like, what's the point of me killing myself now and working so hard if I'm not going to be around to enjoy it later in life? So I've got to start this journey now. And so it is a passion project for me to kind of take the 18 of the 20 things I take every day and combine it into a few different powders, right? Like it's just, I want to value stack it so much that it's a no-brainer for people who understand why some of these things are important. So like in the morning, I take magnesiums, 4 or 5 different types of magnesiums. I take hydration drink. I drink coffee, so caffeine. And I take nootropics. There's 2 different nootropics I take. I take Alpha Brain from which is on it, like a major brand. These are expensive. It's, $100 a month at least just for this, right? And that's just the morning mix. And then in the afternoon, the afternoon and the evening, I'm taking other stuff. So I can combine the nootropics, the magnesiums, and the caffeine, clean green tea extract, and a couple things into one mix and hydration, and it'll cost you $60 a month instead, right? And I think that'll win. I think that story means something, but that's a TikTok product like we were just talking about. So it'll be entrepreneurs and other driven people who are who care about their health saying, you know what, I used to take all of these pills and things and it cost me $150 or $180 a month. Now I can take this one thing that cost me $60. That's a good story, I think. I think we can win there. I'm going to do it as a case study though. So I will be doing some content around it.
Oh, I look forward to following this journey of yours. I have to look at my kitchen cupboards and how many supplements I take to, how much money I spend, and how physically taking the supplements.
You get really good at just taking handfuls of pills and swallowing them all, and like it's almost like a contest to see how many I can take in one go. But it is too much, right? And yeah, I'd rather just take like 2 pills a day and three drink mixes a day and then be done with it.
Well, very much good luck with that product development. I'll look forward to following that journey. So that comes, draws the end of our podcast interview. Thank you so much. You've been incredible, so much value. So I will obviously put the links to the Data Dive and your new kind of course that's launching next month. And any listeners, please, Data Dive is an incredible tool. Go and check it out. Do you do a 3-month trial on Data Dive?
We do a free trial. Do you have a code by any chance that you've got set up with, that you've been set up with?
I will link that in the show notes. Yeah.
Yeah, so there should be a discount code for you to give out to everyone watching, and then have them use that. Get a trial. First thing I do is recommend is go run your niche, right? Like what are you selling? And if you're new to Amazon and you're not sure what you're going to sell, then we give you take that free course on seller systems. But what I would say is for your existing sellers, go run your niche. Go look at who's winning, why they're winning, what keywords they're on, what keywords you're not on, what are you doing right and wrong, what are they doing right and wrong, and you'll get a lot of insights very quickly from it. And it's a zero cost to you to just go do that for the first time.
Highly recommend. So thank you very much again.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. So great to chat. Hopefully we'll hang out at a conference or something soon.
Yeah, thank you. Take care.
Cheers.